Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be hitting on a couple of games in college basketball we think are going to be the better bets against the spread. We're coming off an incredible day of results yesterday over at our main website, stumpthespread.com. Our tournament picks over there went 6-1 against the spread yesterday as South Carolina, Michigan State, Arkansas, Rhode Island, USC, as well as Oklahoma State came through for us against the spread, while Iona came up one basket short to avoid us from having that perfect 7-0 day, but great day of profiting nonetheless. If you want to head on over to our main website, stumpthespread.com, to get our daily free play, or if you want to get our top confidence premium plays, I'll throw a link to Stump the Spread down in the video description so you can check us out over there. In this video, I'm just going to be touching on two games. I have a lot of games on the board today that I think have pretty solid value against the spread, and I'm saving those over for our premium content as well as our daily free pick over at our main website. So I highly recommend you go check that out, see if we can continue on with the hot streak as the college basketball tournament heads into the second round here. So really excited for a number of matchups that we have today. And the first contest I want to talk about in this video is going to be an interesting matchup that we get here between the Big Ten and the WCC as Northwestern takes on Gonzaga. Northwestern, they got out to a pretty significant lead in their first tournament game against Vanderbilt. Their offense, however, sputtered a bit in the second half as they allowed the Commodores back into the game, and really Northwestern got pretty fortunate there in the closing seconds as when they were down by 1 point, a Vanderbilt guy fouled Northwestern, put them on the free throw line, and the Wildcats went on to make those two free throws to get that 1 point lead. And then Vanderbilt wasn't able to get back in the lead after that, and Northwestern went on to close the deal in what was a highly emotional game. And the fans there for Northwestern, I couldn't be happier for them. First time their team has ever been in the NCAA tournament, and getting that win really meant a lot to those Northwestern basketball fans that have had not the greatest luck in recent years or really throughout the history of their basketball program. So great win for them. Going to be a bit tougher today going against the number one seed in the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Of all the number one seeds, probably the two teams that most people feel are most beatable, at least right now, are Gonzaga and perhaps Villanova. Villanova given their depth, and Gonzaga given the fact that some people didn't like how Gonzaga was closing out the year, that loss to BYU. And even in the WCC tournament, their less than dominating performance against Santa Clara had some people wondering if this group was really as great as their number one seeding would lead them on to believe. But Gonzaga, if you remember back during the non-conference, they did pick up some really great wins out of their league against, opponents like Iowa State, Florida, Arizona, and those are certainly the kind of resume wins that can earn you a one seed when having the kind of campaign Gonzaga's had. Also, Gonzaga ranking as the best point differential in college basketball. A lot of that has to do with their easier conference schedule, but this is still one of the best Gonzaga teams that we've ever seen in terms of their regular season results. In their opening game, Gonzaga did not look great, which is a bit concerning against South Dakota State. It took the Bulldogs a really long time to get going, and that's against a mid-major team that did not have themselves a very strong campaign. Gonzaga was able to, get their feet wet a bit and pull away in the second half, but that result was predicated on Gonzaga's defense, not their offense, and that's a worry coming into this one against a Northwestern squad that brings a very strong defense to the table. And Northwestern obviously going to be a bigger threat on the offensive end than South Dakota State's able to bring to the court. Also, we have to remember that this Northwestern squad, through a portion of Big Ten play, they were playing with not at full strength, which they are now. So that certainly works into the favor of the Wildcats. And although we feel like Gonzaga should be able to pick up this win, Northwestern getting the 11 points in what could turn into a defensive battle feels like a pretty solid value bet. Also, we have to take into consideration the fact that Gonzaga, in pretty much all of their tough non-conference games against tournament caliber opposition, all of those wins were by 10 points or less. So, this right now the spread's sitting at about 11 points. So if Northwestern is able to keep in line with those kind of results, they could certainly keep this a respectable result. So even though we are going to go ahead and take Gonzaga to win straight up, we do feel like Northwestern getting the 11 points is going to be the better value bet, especially with the kind of crowd advantage we saw from Northwestern in their opening game. A lot of loyal fans there to support their team, and they should have a pretty strong showing from the crowd again today. So we're going to go ahead and side with the Wildcats, getting those 11 points as the better bet against the spread. And just one more game that I want to talk about in today's video. Interesting early matchup here before noon against Ole Miss and Syracuse as the SEC goes against the ACC, two mid-tier teams from their conferences. Mississippi picked up a great win in their first round game, getting past Monmouth on the road, but you have to think about the fact that Monmouth, they weren't playing at full strength in that one with Seaborn sitting out, and also the fact that we saw that out of Monmouth last year as well, where very disappointing that they weren't able to get in the NCAA tournament and not necessarily having their whole heart and soul into the NIT when they went on to win the MAC regular season title. They were the clear-cut best team out of the MAAC, but they weren't able to get in the big dance. So Mississippi coming into a very tough matchup here on the road against Syracuse. Syracuse has shown tremendously well on their home court this year, and now that they were able to pick up that ever-important first win in the NIT, Syracuse is in it to win it, and, great head coaching, great roster in terms of talent in comparison to other NIT teams. And also Syracuse just been great on their home court, especially as the season wore on. In their opening NIT game, I thought that Syracuse could have a tough time separating from UNC Greensboro, given the fact that UNCG had a lot more motivation coming into the first round, but Syracuse was able to build a lead which hung around that 10 to 15 point mark for pretty much the entire second half, and that was a big win to get for Syracuse as they try to move on in advance and maybe even win this NIT tournament. So right now, giving about 6.5 to 7 points, we do feel like Syracuse is the more talented team. They get the home court advantage. They've been really great on their home court. And also Mississippi is going back-to-back on the road for this NIT, so they could be a bit more fatigued as a result, while Syracuse has been able to play on their home court. So we're going to go ahead and side with Syracuse giving those points as the better bet against the spread. And those are the two games I wanted to touch on in today's video. Again, if you're interested in getting our daily free pick over at our main website, as well as all of our premium content that we put out there for the NCAA tournament, you can head on over to stumpthespread.com, and I'll throw a link to Stump the Spread down in the video description. And if you want more of this pick video content in the future, you can click that subscribe button. So thanks guys for stopping on in, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.